Hi, how are you all? Well, I'm back quicker than I thought actually. I've been using my stash busting kit, which should have been for February, but I've started it early and I've used it. So, I've been quite a productive girl. It's really helped because I've taken part in a cyber crop run by Mind the Scrap. If you haven't seen her on Facebook, it's a fab site. About twice a year she runs a cyber crop and they set challenges, and that's helped me the last few days as well. So I've actually completed 13 layouts from my kit and I've got a little bit left over. So I'm just going to show you what I've got left. Although I've used washi tape on almost all the layouts, it's like never-ending stuff, washi tape, isn't it? I'm sure it just reproduces when you're not looking. So I've still got some things left, but I've used loads anyway. Except for these, I still haven't managed to use these bottle tops. So I'm going to have to really challenge myself, or either that or pass them on to somebody. So here are the little bits I've got left there. I have used nearly all the brads that I put in there, because again they are like something that just keeps reproducing, like the magic porridge pot. What I did with this, I didn't realise that each of these unpeel. So I've used those on a couple of layouts. Oh, there's a stray sticker there. And so I've taken them off and used them as embellishments. So at least now I know to do that. I'll use the rest of them up, and I think I've got some coloured ones like it. So I've still got, these are my embellishments that I've made myself out of different little bits and pieces. So I've got a couple of embellishment clusters left, a card from one of the papers. So actually, when I look back at what I started with, I have made a real dent in it. Obviously, I didn't expect to use all the twine, so I've got twine left. What I'll do now, after this, is sort through and put everything back where it came from. I've got a few scraps of paper, which will be going into school for the children to cut out on the creative table. But look, ta-da! I completely used up this sticker set. It didn't have, there's quite a few of them used already, but I've used the rest, and I've almost used up this one. And to be honest, I can't see me using any of these now, so I think I'll put those on the creative table in school as well. The children love to see what I brought in. I added some extra alphas to the pile, and so I've used some of these. I've used lots of this one. I've also made a real dent in this one as well. I find it so hard just to completely use up alphas. And I know people suggest words ready and laying them on the thing, but I'm pretty useless at anagrams and I find that quite tricky. I can see hip, and that's about all I can see. Tim, so if I know anyone called Tim. So I won't throw them, but I'll have to challenge myself to use those up. I've used lots of these as well. Loads of those, in fact. Loads of these. But you still have the same random letters left, don't you? And I've also made a bit of a dent in these as well. So I'll put those back in my stash, and I'm going to have a look at some alpha challenges, I think, to see about using the rest of them up. Because I'm sure there's been one on Crafty Use It or Lose It. I didn't use that many of these. Used a few of these, only a couple of these. I used lots of these stickers, and I've had those in my stash for quite some time. So quite a few of these. I use loads of these little puffy enamel dot things. I use lots of these stickers, and as I say, I had this sticker sheet is from 2012, so, and all the spaces on there I've used in this challenge. I've used a few more of these, but not enough. So here's the papers I've got left. I've got this piece, but as you can see, I've cut a big section. I've just got that from a 12 by 12. I've used quite a few of the little sentiments here. I've got that piece from a 12 by 12. That bit's left. That bit. I've got this whole sheet left because I just didn't have anything. Any of my photos just didn't really go with it. This one I've still got the lemon paper, so then this one I've used quite a section of that. I didn't use these this time. What I'm thinking is to use it as a full sheet and just try and find lots of different photos. I'm thinking of either lots of different photos of Izzy or lots of different photos of an event, and just fill the sheet with those. So I'm not giving up on that one. I've used loads of these stickers here. In fact, I've just got a couple left. So what I think I might just do is trim around them and put them in my embellishment box. I've used quite a few. I also grabbed another one of these out. I've used quite a few, but as you can see, I've still got quite a few left. So now let's get on to the exciting bit. Let's see what I've actually made. So I have added white cardstock to the kit. Well, I've recorded this once, but then I had a massive coughing fit, so I've edited all that out and we'll try again. So this is one of the layouts I did. And the challenge was to do with transport. My dad and nephew were absolutely obsessed by trains. So I can honestly say I've done the majority of steam trains in Britain, I think. So I thought then, so as you can see, I've used some of the little black puffy stickers. I've used an embellishment that I made myself, an embellishment cluster. I've used some of the chipboard, and I've used lots of these little word ones. I've used basil marshmallow cardstock because it takes mixed media really well without you having to apply any gesso to it. I never know if it's gesso or gesso, so I might change the way I say that all the time. This is the second one I did, and what I've started to do lately, I used to think that you had to use all the same letters in an alphabet, and then I'd think, oh, I can't use that one because I can't make up the third word, but I've mixed my alphas on lots of them to make sure that I'm using them up, and I actually really like the effect. It's also made up just of scraps of paper, and to be honest, on a big layout you wouldn't think that you could put these scraps together, these pieces together. I wouldn't have used those two usually. And I know when I first started scrapbook, and I used to think that every single embellishment had to be from the same collection or had to be a complete match, but actually the eclectic sort of mix works really well. There we are. Then my third one then. There. As you can see there, that's where I've used some of those little crystal embellishments. And I've used some Heidi Swap Shine. I've used lots of those stickers. That's one of those. I managed to make a word from that one set of stickers. And again, these were these ones here were leftover pieces. I cut down a card off the back of one of the pieces of paper. I think it was the Dear Lizzie Stargazer. I've used lots of little foam things. I've used some brads. I've used a wooden embellishment. That's another one gone. The challenge I did this one for was talking about your bucket list, and I didn't realise until I started running, but then I had an urge to run a half marathon, so I chose Cardiff to be my first. And my mum has suffered with Crohn's for many years, so I ran it for the Crohn's and Colitis UK and raised money then for the charity. So I used one of my wood veneers, again lots of stickers, and you can see because I was sticking a piece of white card, I gutted this piece of cardstock here which says hooray, and you can see then that I've used this on other layouts. That's a good way then to utilise your papers. This one here, this is one of the oldest pieces of paper I own and is now gone. This was the one by Sassafras Lass. I used to love the colours. They were always a bit quirky. And again, I've used lots of the little stickers, lots of the little flower stickers, puffy clouds. I used texture paste. I've used, again, a mixture of alphabets. And that's what I've used, that little gem cluster again. This was one of the first ones I did, and for this one I managed to use lots of pattern papers in one go. I also used some of my handmade embellishment clusters. There's that one there, that one there. just ink the edges because of the fact that I use the front and back. So this piece here, if you see what I mean, is the front piece and the back piece of the same piece of paper. And I didn't want them to be completely straight because I knew that, knowing me, I wouldn't get them completely straight. So I thought I'd put them in a bit of a jaunty angle. This one I've actually managed to use a flamingo on. I like flamingos, but there's never much cause to use them, I don't think. And my friend Anne, who was a real flamingo lover, would find that hard to believe. So this one again, I've mixed up my alphas down here. I looked through them all first to see which words I could make. And the challenge was something to do with the word catch, or that you were good at catching in rounders or things like that. So I thought, to earn a few brownie points, I'd make this one dedicated to my husband and say that he was my catch of the day. And I managed to use up that envelope that I've had for ages. This one here remembers the day that my dad drove a steam train for his 65th birthday. Because him and my nephew, as I say, were completely obsessed by trains, I bought my dad the steam train driving experience, and the look on Dad's face and my nephew's face was absolutely incredible. I used lots of scraps of paper again here. Use some Heidi Swap and lots of the puffy stars. This was on one of the sticker sheets, and then I added an alpha in. The next layout actually uses one of the oldest pieces of paper I own, and that's this shaped piece here. So that's now gone out to my stash and is now made it onto a page. One of my handmade embellishments, and this was one of the Maggie Holmes pieces, and I cut it in half to make it look like there's one big frame behind it. This is actually a branding sheet off this piece of paper. Use one of the chipboard words, and I've used some washi tape and doilies. I do like doilies, and just under the doily is a different washi tape, but I put the doily over a little bit too far, I think. This is one of my favourite ones. This is my little great nephew dressed in his little shark costume, and I've actually made a process video which I'll put the link in the description below. This is one of the, there was a cut file I had cut out when to use it for something, because I added a little bit of colour and then decided it didn't go with what I was doing, so I've just backed a few of the circles. And when I first chose this piece of paper, I was intending to use it for this side, but instead I thought this one went with the colour scheme much better. Again, I do like pieces of paper with frames on, but sometimes they're a bit tricky to use. So for this, I cut out some of the inside pieces and then backed them. You can see that I've just backed it with pattern paper. I used one of those little foil, I think this was a Heidi Swap one, and just some little embellishments there. And this is myself here, little blonde one, and my sister, my late sister, when we were very little. This here, this embellishment, was one of the first embellishments I bought for scrapbooking. And I think I've been scrapbooking now about 14 years, so I can safely say that's now made it onto a page at long last. This layout here, the challenge was to think about a list of words to describe yourself. So I used my Dymo labelling machine and thought of some words there, and look at all the brads I've used. I also used, I'm assuming, I don't know, he's a heron, or I don't know why, but he's just like the colours of him. Otherwise you'll just never use these sort of things up, really. And then I cut my piece of paper then and put them either side, and again mixing in pattern ranges, paper ranges and different patterns. And this here is my last layout. This was when it was my graduation day many moons ago. I think I've been teaching now nearly 22 years, so as you can see, many years have passed since then. I used lots of the stickers here. This is actually a big hot air balloon, and I was thinking I'd never use it as a hot air balloon, so I wanted to show it as a bit of a heart shape instead. Use some colour shine as well, and some more chipboard pieces. So there we go. So from my stash kit, and I will include a link below if you've missed the stash kit, at least you can go back to see what I started off with. I have made 13 layouts, so that's 13 precious memories or occasions documented, and the stash taken off my shelf and has made his way into a scrapbook album where it should be. So thank you ever so much for watching. Huge welcome to all my new subscribers. If you haven't subscribed yet but you'd like to, please click on the subscription button, and if you tap the little bell, it'll tell you all the other videos I'm doing. Thank you ever so much. Have a great week in work or at home, whatever you're up to, and I shall see you soon. Hwyl fawr.